Welcome to episode 3 of Across the Diamond. I'm one of two of your co-hosts, Ryan McKinney.
I'm the other, second part of your co-host, Andrew Manjares, and today's episode is AL West offseason grades.
Yes, sir. But before that, we're going to get into some news, some big free agency
Yes.
signings recently, and a lot of them are going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think we can start with the biggest one, which would obviously be Roki Sasaki, the international pitching phenom, signing with the Dodgers.
Yeah, he only signed for 6.5 million, which is all from international pool money. So we could have got a lot more. It just seems to me that he wanted to be with the Dodgers, go over there and be with his former teammates and stuff like that. But yeah, man, that was a big one. That's one that we were waiting on since he got posted in mid-December, and he looks like everyone could have predicted he went to the Dodgers, and it came into fruition. He's a Los Angeles Dodger now.
Yep. So, just to bring you guys in on Roki Sasaki, I mean, he's a one-of-a-kind pitcher with some question marks. He has a ceiling or a higher ceiling than Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani on the mound, and he comes to states with some remarkable feats in Japan. He tied Ohtani's pitch velo record of 102.5 miles per hour through the first perfect game in the MPB since 1984. During that perfect game, he struck out 13 hitters um in a row. Um, but he comes stateside with some risk and probably a lower floor than those guys that I mentioned too. He would obviously have the best, or he would come over and quite possibly have the best one-two punch pitching wise in baseball with his fastball and splitter. That best pitch is the splitter. It plays off the fastball extremely well. It has 13 inches of horizontal separation between the fastball and his splitter, which would be the best in baseball given those two stats. And his fastball is no slack either. He's ran it up to 102, like I previously mentioned, and it has 15 inches of arm side break with some ride too, so it kind of approaches the hitter with some uplift, or it seems that way at least to them.
Absolutely, man. If you really want a taste of Roki Sasaki, obviously all of us in the major league community got a little bit of a taste during the World Baseball Classic, and the same clip has going to be posted a lot throughout MLB Twitter and just honestly in all social medias. Is that a bat against Randy Rosarena? So basically, his stuff is electric, man. Even if you go through just what he's done in the NPB, he has pitched to a 2.10 ERA through almost 400 innings, and he has a WHIP under 9 at a .894. He has an 11.5 strikeouts per nine, and he's only walking two batters per nine. I don't. It's as good as a flyer, and it's as good as a pitcher that you're going to see from overseas comes to the Major League Baseball within the next couple of years, away from Yoshinobu Yamamoto, which happened last year. After Sasaki, I don't think you can get a better pitcher on the market today, other than what free agents were there, maybe with Corbin Burns. But if you're willing to take a flyer, especially because now he's going to be under team control for the next 6 years, the Dodgers got their guy, man. They got Roki Sasaki, so props to them, and look out for anybody in the NL West having a pitch through that 1 through 5, having Roki Sasaki there. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, Sasaki does bring some risk though.
Oh, for
He's
sure,
dealt with plenty of injuries.
for
Last
sure.
season, the latest season, he missed 2 months with shoulder fatigue, and shoulder injuries today are worse than I
Yeah,
think
you've
Tommy
always said,
John.
man. You've always said,
Yeah,
man. Let me get elbow problems before I get shoulder problems,
yeah.
brother. I can
Shoulder
definitely
shoulder
testify to
problems
that.
are shoulder problems are definitely the biggest problem that pitchers have nowadays. It's
Yeah.
such a unique muscle and ball and joint. It's hard to repair and then recover. I'm no doctor though. But during that season, his OPS on his fastball did jump 150 points, and he really his the fatigue on his shoulder made his fastball velo drop. And without a third option, really, I mean, he does have a decent third option, which would be a slider. His slider velo was also down and movement. Um, and he comes over never throwing over 130 innings in his career.
Yeah.
So he definitely can be one of the best pitchers in baseball, but definitely has a high ceiling and a lower floor than some of the guys we've seen in Japan. But with that pitching development over there in the Dodgers organization, I think they're going to try to squeeze every ounce of him and be the best pitcher we can see.
Oh, for sure, man. It seems like we're kind of talking about maybe the risk factor, but I do want to emphasize he's only 23, man. I mean,
Yeah,
even if he were to go out there and miss a season or two, that puts him at his 25-year-old season, which would be the same age as Yoshinobu Yamamoto in his first year over here in MLB. And at the same time, man, I mean, you want these injuries to happen sooner than later, especially because he's under team control. He came over as he was posted, so meaning he wasn't an international free agent. So having to be able to have that 6 years of control, basically I'm trying to emphasize on, if he does go down, you'd want to do it now, that instead of later, because he's not going to be paying that part of that contract, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So yeah, man, good with Roki Sasaki. I'm honestly surprised about the signing bonus that he were to get, or the international pool money that he got, which is only 6.5 million. I thought he was going to get more than that, but it just kind of just shows and testifies of how much he wanted to be a Dodger, man.
Yeah.
I know we touched based on it. It's a little frustrating, as if you're a different, you know, fan of a different team other than the Dodgers. But I mean, if you're a Dodger fan, you have to be ecstatic.
Alrighty. Yeah, well, F the Dodgers.
Yeah. Well, we'll highlight a few of these other
Yeah,
news real
of
quick.
their other additions.
We'll sign Tanner Scott, who is the hottest relief pitcher on the market. He goes over there to the Dodgers. We'll talk a little bit more about him as soon as we get to the National League side and the National League West. But he signed a 4 year, $72 million deal. And then another guy that they added as of today on 121. It is pending physical, so nothing is confirmed. They want to see him pass a physical before they sign the contract. And that would be your guy, Kirby Yates, who you watched a lot of last year being a Rangers fan.
Yeah, Kirby Yates had a great year. Was 100th in percentile in xERA and expected batting average.
Yeah, man.
Supported a high K rate, K percentage, whiffed a lot of or missed a lot of bats, high whiff percentage, and a very low barrel percentage. So obviously the Dodgers had a guy that could be real good again for them.
Yeah, I mean, Kirby Yates was. I always think of Kirby Yates in his time with San Diego, but he definitely missed a couple of years past then after the San Diego longevity over there. But it seems like he came back to life this year over there in Texas, and is pitching like vintage Kirby Yates, if not even a little bit better. I mean, I do want to give him a shout out. He made second team All MLB this year, which is no knock. I mean, you lose out to um, Emmanuel Clase and Ryan Helsley, who also had phenomenal years, but I could definitely make a case that Kirby Yates should have been first team All MLB as well. But you go out and take a flyer on him. He is 37, and it seems like they're genuinely concerned about how his arm is holding up, because they want him to pass a physical first. So we'll go ahead and see that. But that's Kirby Yates and those three guys going to the Dodgers. Another signing that we just saw recently was Anthony Santander. He's staying in the AL East. He's going over there to Toronto with the Blue Jays on a 5 year, $92 million deal.
Coming off his best year where he hit 44 homers. I think his ability to slug is only going to increase in Toronto. We'll see a way if he could find a way to maybe walk at a higher clip
Yeah, man.
or even hit at a higher clip, batted 235 this year. I know we don't love looking at batting average, but only a 308 on base percentage. His projections for next season on Baseball Reference have him at a 783 OPS with 31 homers. So I think it's possible that he excel or exceeds those numbers, but those
Yeah.
are safe projections, and I think that's about what he's been for his career. So props to him getting his money, and hopefully Toronto found a guy. They finally signed one of the guys that they were in
Yeah.
on.
I mean, sometimes there he goes out there and hits baseballs, man. He's not gonna flash any of the other back there. He's a decent defender. But if Anthony Santander goes over there with the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays convince him to start taking pitches and walking, I mean, that 5 years, $92 million may seem like a bargain for that type of caliber player, because obviously he can swing it, but if he can get on base at even more of a decent clip, you know what I mean? I mean, that's a really good player you get over there in Toronto. And then we have another reliever leaving your Texas Rangers. Jose Leclerc signed a deal with the Athletics on a 1 year, $10 million deal. Another reliever left the market in AJ Minter. He signed a 2 year deal with the New York Mets for $22 million over 2 years. And then
Good
they
pickup
bring
for them.
back Jesse Winker back to the Mets on a 1 year deal worth $7.5 million.
Yeah, decent pickups for the Mets. Obviously, they got Jesse Winker, who a guy who loves to get on base, walks with the
Yeah, man.
best of them,
Walks.
doesn't chase, and we saw him have some big moments in the playoffs. You know, he's hit some big hits and clutch ABs. Shows a lot of emotion on the field.
For
So
sure, man.
I'm
he
sure
kind
he's
of he kind of lost it for a little while. I know
yeah,
he was really good over there at Cincinnati and stuff like that. And then he kind of goes and jumps around a couple different teams, but whatever they're cooking over there in the Mets factory, he seemed like he found what he was missing over the past couple of years. So good on the Mets. It kind of puts them out of the Pete Alonso sweepstakes. At least that's what the reports are saying.
that's what the reports are. Yeah,
So this seems like they go over with Jesse Winker and they're hoping that they can bring the same type of value that they brought to the Mets last year. So all hopes and good wishes over there to Jesse Winker. I'm glad that he's back in Major League Baseball. And then we'll go ahead and start with our offseason projections for the AL West. I mean, starting with the Astros, they
let's do it.
finished 88 and 73 last year. They won the division over there in the AL West and slid into the wild card because they were the 3 seed. And then unfortunately, they lose in 2 games at home to Kansas City. So, how would you touch base on the Astros season last year?
Disappointing. They were my World Series pick going in
Yeah,
to the season. I thought their team, when they signed Josh Hader, they had one of the best bullpens in baseball, I thought. Um, the bullpen didn't perform at the beginning of the year, and they struggled super early, which ended up in them having under a 90 win season, which is rare from them recently. We've seen them dominate for the last 6 years. Um, and then obviously they got um come bounced by the Tigers,
Tigers.
completely shocked Houston, I think. Obviously, it's hard to win a 3-game series when Tariq Skubal's pitching game one, but they had the talent to do it, and they fell short this season. But they've made some interesting offseason moves, so I'm excited to see. Let's get into that, and I don't know. It seems like they're building a contender still, even with some huge losses. So we'll see how this season comes, but let's get into some of their additions and losses.
So it seems like their biggest free agent addition as of today is they're going to bring Christian Walker, man. Obviously, as a Houston Astros fan, or just you've always kind of paying attention to the Houston Astros, they've been a dynasty for a large majority of the past several years. So they had a massive hole to fill at first base, and they bring in Christian Walker on a 3-year deal worth $60 million. Then I mean, other than that, I don't see any other free agent signings that they made so far. It seems like they did a lot of trades, but adding Christian Walker is a big bat, man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Christian Walker not only is a big bat, elite defender at first base,
Yes,
probably the best in baseball. He's going to use those short porch, the Crawford boxes in left field to his advantage, coming off the past 3 seasons where he hit, I think about 85 homers, the last 3 years, and OPS to over 800 every season. I think those numbers skyrocket. I mean, if he starts pulling the ball and finds those Crawford boxes, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs into another 35 homer season and maybe even scratches the 40 homer mark. The Astros have been searching for a first baseman for so long. They tried with
yes.
Jose Abreu, it was a disaster. Um, Even during those World Series runs in the late teens, early 20s, they had Yuli Gurriel over there. That first guy was really good in 17, 18 and 19, but kind of fell off and they were still competing. But maybe this is their answer. I think they found an answer for the current corners and the future corners too, with these upcoming additions that we'll talk about. So good on them for signing Walker.
Oh, for sure, man. I just want to run through his savant real quick. He's in the 97th percentile in range outs above average, so you're really getting a damn near the best defender out there, if not the best defender out there at first base. He's in the 86th percentile in xWOBA, and average exit velocity is in the 82nd percentile at 91 miles an hour. So I mean that's pretty good. Christian Walker is a hot free agent, especially for any team looking for a first baseman, and it looks like the Astros went out there and made him a deal that he couldn't refuse. So I look forward to seeing what Christian Walker can do out there with the Crawford boxes, like you said, and as well as just playing on a competitive team like the Houston Astros. Not to say the Diamondbacks weren't, but I mean, when you talk about dynasties, the Astros are definitely in that conversation, and I still think they have a team together that's willing to compete with the best of them year in year out. So,
Absolutely.
other than Christian Walker, man, you add Hayden Wesensky from the Cubs for Kyle Tucker. You add Isaac Paredes from the Cubs for Kyle Tucker, and you add third base prospect Cam Smith from the Cubs for Kyle Tucker. So we said Kyle Tucker 3 times for those 3 players. I mean, they got a haul back for Kyle Tucker, and who would have thought
One
he
year
was
of
on the
Kyle
market
Tucker.
anyway? Yes, who
Yeah.
even thought going into the 2024 offseason that Kyle Tucker was going to be available, man. What was your initial reaction to this trade?
Um, So before, let's talk about beforehand. I hated that he was on the market. Kyle Tucker's an MVP
For
talent.
sure, man.
Has been a
100%.
staple
For
in their
sure.
lineup for so long. But but boy, did they get a freaking haul back. A lot of years of control on Isak Paredes, Hayden Wesneski, spot start and bullpen death for them. And I'm sure they'll turn him into something. I don't think the Astros get the credit they deserve for their bullpen development. I think it's up
Yeah.
there in the top 10 in baseball.
Mhm.
They find a way to succeed with a lot of guys. Um, and then Cam Smith, I think, is the biggest return, honestly.
Yeah.
A guy who j shot up the rankings this past season, made it all the way to Double A in Chicago's system. Um, and he started in low A, put up a 1200 OPS there in 15 games. Worked his way up to single A plus, put up a 921 OPS there, and then in 5 games in Double A, um, did put up a 774 OPS, but slugged at a 500 clip damn near in just 5 games. And I think he's going to be real good. Played at Florida State in college uh, in 2024 and was really good. In 66 games in a season, senior season, put up an 1150 OPS with 16 homers in 66 games. And I know he's jumped flying through the prospect rankings. So this is what I was talking about when I said I think they found their future and current corner players out there on the infield diamond for the Astros.
I mean, can you look up how many much years of control does Isak Paredes have? Because even if after the contract of Christian Walker after those 3 years, if Isak Paredes has the amount of years of control that I think he does, I mean you can slide over Isak Paredes to first base and bring Cam
And
Smith up here pretty soon, man.
I think
Or
that's their
even
plan.
plug in Isak Paredes at the DH spot. I mean, I guess you have Jordan there, but I mean to make anything to make room for Cam Smith or find something to do with Isak Paredes, maybe find him a new position. But I mean, Cam Smith can definitely play a factor within the next couple of years. Like you said, he's jumped up the skyrocketed in the third baseman prospect rankings as well as the prospect rankings in general. So I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, for a player like a caliber of Kyle Tucker, I mean, you get a decent haul back. I just seems like in my head maybe I'm overestimating, or maybe I
Just
think Kyle
pay him.
Tucker is way better than that type of haul. But I mean, I just don't think the value of Kyle Tucker is replaceable with anybody, man. I
I
don't
think they got
understand that.
close to it.
I mean, maybe I just think I love Kyle Tucker, man.
For
I think
one
Kyle
year, I
Tucker's a
think they
great
got
year leader.
close
Sure,
to it.
man.
No,
Sure.
I'm agreeing with you. I
Yeah.
think they should have paid him, kept him.
Yeah.
Him and Jordan are one of the best top three
Yeah, man.
two-hitter punches in
And then you
baseball.
throw in Altuve right there. I mean,
Isak Paredes is also under control until the 2028 season. So after 2027, he's a free agent. So they have him for 3 more seasons.
so both
We'll see.
Isak Paredes and Christian Walker are going to be out of the Astros
Which
at
by
the
then they
the
could
same
just
time, man.
slide Christian Walker's money over to Paredes maybe and
Well, we do know
have those
Paredes
corner
is a
infielders.
dead pull hitter. I mean, we'll see how he plays out there with the
I
Crawford
think
Blacks
he's
this
going to do
year.
well.
Maybe he'll revert back to how he was when he was with the Rays because he had an abysmal time over there in Chicago. So
Yeah,
hopefully, I mean, I wouldn't take Kyle Tucker unless I'm hoping that Isak Paredes is gonna revert back to what he was doing in Tampa. But
I think
I
he's
want to
going to
say he is. I like
exceed
90.
those
Yeah, for sure, man.
those numbers
I mean, yeah,
because I saw that graphic and it might have been memeing, but I think if he played uh all of his games in Houston, he would have almost had 40 homers this past season. So
they're slugging with the best of them, especially at third
yeah,
base, who is a hitting
exactly.
primary position for sure. We'll go ahead and I think that's about it. I mean, they took a flyer on Taylor Trammell from the Yankees for cash. Taylor Trammell has been a prospect for years, man. So I think it looks like it's his last chance, but that speed
Probably.
is always going to play. So I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with him, but he's on the team as well. But we'll go over their losses. We obviously touched based on Kyle Tucker. He's gone. Doesn't seem like he'll ever return. I mean, it looks like his tenure is over with the Astros. And then you lose Justin Verlander, future first ballot Hall of Famer. He's old, man. I understand having him walk. I mean, he just doesn't fit your team anymore.
They got
Hunter,
mini Verlander too.
yeah, for sure. Hunter Brown.
Hunter Brown.
We'll touch base on the roster moving forward right after this. Then you lose Hector Neris in a pen that's already pretty solid. So you lose Hector Neris, but then you lose Alex Bregman. But then you immediately get Isak Paredes to replace him. But the same kind of vibe that I have towards Kyle Tucker is the same way I feel about Bregman. But like you said, the graphic said that he was going to drop about 44 to 45 home runs over there in Minute Maid Park, or I think they renamed it, but I'm gonna continue to call it Minute Maid Park.
Like
But
Orange Juice Park now.
yeah, but they replace Alex Bregman with Isak Paredes, but
We'll
it
see.
seems like
We'll
it's
see.
getting overshadowed. Whether like I feel like you really need to highlight the fact that you lose a player like Alex Bregman. I mean, I want to touch base on that a little bit, but they also lose Kendall Graveman and Caleb Ferguson, who were both bullpen arms for them. But yeah, man, you lose Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman. So, I mean, I don't. What are your thoughts on losing those two players?
Um, Bregman has been on a steady decline. You know, I'm a huge Alex Bregman guy.
Yeah,
Um, I'm a big fan of Bregman, but I can't say anything about it because they offered him the money. 6 years, 160 million. I don't even think he's gonna get that in free agency right now. If he did, he probably would have signed already. Um, I mean, his last year in Houston, he OPS 768. The on base percentage was at an all-time low for him. Walk percentage as well. Um, I mean, he's as solid as they come in terms of baseball players, though. Great, good defender over there at third base. Is gonna walk. Is gonna run into some homers.
he
Stays
also never
healthy.
strikes out, man. Doesn't
Never
strike out.
strikes out.
Yeah,
Stays healthy. And we've seen him perform on the biggest stage.
for
A
sure.
great postseason
He's
performer.
also
So
in the 91st percentile and outs above average. I mean, if you want
yeah,
to look at
great
DRS
defender.
or outs above average, he's definitely among the greats out there over there at third base. He could definitely hold it down. His arm strength is, I think, is qualified like bottom three, but I mean, he still gets it done. I mean, as long as you can chuck it across the diamond, I think you'd be okay. But Alex Bregman, man, you lose him, you lose Kyle Tucker. It's kind of faltering my grading for them. It just seems like even when I look at what their additions they've made, I just don't think you can make up losing those two types of players. But all in all, man, I think their roster is really good. It's still
I
really
still
good.
think they're the best team in the AL West.
I don't know, man. You're a Rangers fan. That's crazy that you just said that.
I
But
mean, I'm a realistic baseball fan, though. I don't think we have a better roster than them.
okay, so just run it down real quick. You got Jose Altuve, Isaac Paredes, Jordan Alvarez, Christian Walker, Yanier Diaz, Jeremy Pena, Chas McCormick, and it looks like Taylor Trammell is your starting left fielder according to Fangraphs.
They are in on Jurickson Profar.
We'll
I
see
saw
where that happens,
reports.
man.
So
And then you got Jake Myers, and then it looks like your rotations. I think is really solid. I think it's extremely solid. You got Framber, Valdez, Hunter Brown, Renault Blanco, Spencer Arrighetti, and Hayden Wesensky, who I think is a placeholder for Lance McCullers. I think he'll be back this year.
if he ever pitches again.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I love the Snapdragon. But then you got Josh Hader, Brian Abreu, Ryan Presley, Taylor Scott, Brian King, Caleb Ort, Forrest Whitley, and Sean Dubin in your bullpen. And then just to highlight who they have on the IL, it's a lot of pitchers. I mean, they have JP France, Luis Garcia, Christian Javier, and who we touched based on the Snapdragon, Lance McCullers Jr. So I mean, looking going into this, I think it's really really competitive, especially with the Rangers, who we'll get into in a minute. But I don't know, man. It just seems like they're kind of doing a lot of the same, and I really don't agree of you being such a competitive team and not playing your stars, man. I really think you should have kept Kyle Tucker. So just for that reason only, I think I'm gonna give him barely a passing grade at a C, man. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I'm sitting around the C plus range too. I think they did enough to, like I said, be the best team in the AL West still. A weak division, give or take.
yeah,
The Mariners, of course, who are extremely disappointing this offseason as well.
because you got
And the
money.
Rangers have got it better. But their pitching rotation and their bullpen depth are really good. I mean, if they get those guys healthy, they're looking at a solid 6, 7 man rotation with Framber, Brown, Arrighetti, who I'm really excited for,
For sure, man.
Luis Garcia, JP France, and Lance McCullers. So those guys can hold down a regular season 162 and be competitive enough to win 90 to 93 games, I think, which I think is a win total that you'll need to win the AL West this coming season. Um, so I'm gonna give them a C plus just because it seemed like they got worse, but they kind of stayed stagnant as well in terms of competitiveness and the ability to win a division and compete in the playoffs. And we've seen this team, um, have a dynasty over the last six
Yeah,
years. and the dynasties aren't forever. So eventually it's gonna have to die down, and it looks like it's starting to fall apart. Obviously, they still got Jordan and their leader Jose Altuve, but with Framber being a free agent and these stars leaving already, it's gonna be tough to keep it together and pay everyone. So for that reason, I gave him a C plus.
That's fair enough, bro. Like I said, solid C. I mean, maybe if they make another movie, they go with profile. I'm looking at maybe about a B minus. But
Yeah,
yeah. Until then, I just passing grade, man. I don't agree that they stayed stagnant. I think they haven't gotten progressively worse, but I definitely think they've gotten worse. Um, and we'll see, man. I mean, you have a lot of injuries on that pitching rotation, but if all thing
I
goes
mean,
good,
most of them are gonna come back though.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Javier's out. Luis Garcia, I think, is back this
He's
year,
gonna
but
come back. That's why they
Javier
mentioned
is
Javier
back.
in their seven-man
Yeah,
rotation. Yeah,
yeah, Javier is gone. I mean, I think that's a real blow. I think Javier gets it done.
right.
But even, I mean, Hunter Brown, you're hoping he replicates and maybe takes a step forward this year, but he's
He
still
will.
pretty relatively fresh. So yeah, man, I don't know. I think I'm really harsh on them. I just think it's unbelievable that you trade Kyle Tucker. I just don't understand how you trade a superstar like that and definitely a face of your franchise. But yeah, man. Well, let's take a break, man, and then we'll get into the Seattle Mariners.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. But before we go on to the Mariners, I do want to highlight two more losses that they had. They also lost Kikuchi and Jason Hayward.
Yes, Kikuchi trade deadline accusation gave up Loper Fido for him. But
Bats love doing weird things, brother.
yeah,
All right, man. We'll get into the second place finisher in the 2024 season in the AL West and the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners missed the playoffs. They finished at a 85 and 77 record, and boy, they're right up there with the Twins, brother. Let me tell you what. Um, Only notable addition that they made this year to that abysmal roster
Donovan Solano
that can't hit nothing, not even beach
fix the
balls,
field.
is yes, they've added Donovan Solano on a 1 year deal worth $3.5 million. I mean the Seattle Mariners are gonna be quick, brother. I mean, I already have my letter grade. Let me tell you
F
what. But
F
their
is mine.
losses, man, they've lost Josh Rojas, Justin Turner, Yimi Garcia, Luis Urias, and Jorge Polanco. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there in Seattle, man. I really
Trying
don't.
to win 54% of games, I guess.
Guess so, man. But
Is that what he
yeah,
said? 54, right?
something like that, brother.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens, man. We'll
I
see
mean, I
what
just don't
happens over there with the
understand how you
Mariners.
have one of the best rotations that I think we've ever seen on paper. And still it's the best in baseball, given what the Dodgers are doing. I don't care. It's definitely still the best in baseball. And you just refuse to go out and sign bats. You refuse to go out and sign anything. You refuse to trade prospects for bats. You refuse to be in on any trade rumors on any free agent. I don't even think I've seen them linked to a guy that could put up over a 750 OPS. I mean, shout out to Donovan Solano. I think he's a great hitter, and I think he could hit anywhere. But Jesus, that shouldn't be your only move in the offseason, man.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Santander would have been a great fit for this team. I think Alex Bregman is still a great fit for this team. Um, I mean, Jurickson Profar. I mean, if you want to be cheap, I mean, go sign Jurickson Profar for a 1 year deal. Overpay for him. Do
They should
anything,
go
brother.
get Pete Alonso.
Oh, you can get Pistol
Please.
Pete too. You can go get Pistol Pete.
Please.
Um, yeah, I mean, let's go through the lineup. I mean, you got Victor Robles, shout out him, breakout year this year. Got himself a nice extension. Then you got J Rod, arguably, a top 10 player when healthy and when performing for sure, if not top five. And then you have Kyle Raleigh, arguably the best catcher in the league, Platinum Glove winner this past season. Just a
Yeah,
great player.
can
You
slug.
have Randy Arozarena, who seems to only I don't even know. I don't even know how I feel about Randy Arozarena, brother. I mean, he's a lock for 2020, but I mean, I just don't think Randy Arozarena is that good. I mean, he's a terrible defender. I just don't think Randy Arozarena 2020 playoffs, and I guess he's a playoff performer. But in the regular season, I don't know, man. I mean, you trade for him, sure. I mean, he's gonna play left field. I mean, he's an average baseball player, but I don't think he's. I don't. Can you do you understand what I'm saying about Randy Arozarena?
No, I don't.
I
I'm
just
completely in disagreeing with
I
you.
just don't think Randy Arozarena
I
is that
mean,
good, man.
Jesus,
I
I
I
completely disagree with you.
I just don't think Randy
I mean,
Arozarena is
how
that
can
good,
you
man.
not say he's good? Yeah, he comes off of one bad season. But the season before that, 772 OPS 2030. I'm
Bro,
sorry, the season before
he's
that, 789 OPS 2020, and then the season before that, a 772 OPS 2030. Um, and the best playoff performer I think I've ever seen outside of Adolis Garcia's 2023 run, um,
I just don't agree. I mean,
and
all I
Carlos
see.
Beltran.
I mean, sure, in 2023 he's a 3.5 win player. But I want to reference his F4, bro. Maybe I am being too harsh. Maybe I am being too harsh on Randy
And
Rosarena.
also, he walks at a very high clip, which I know you like.
I love me some
In
walks, bro.
2023, the season before this, he was in the 85th percentile in hard hit rate, 82nd percentile in barrel percentage, and 86th percentile in average X velocity, was 80th in X WOBA. Put up a 90th percentile in batting run value. I know he's not a good fielder, never has been, never will be, but he can, which doesn't make sense because he's athletic as hell. But whatever. Um, I just don't agree with you. I mean, even in a season he struggles, he puts up a WRC plus over 100. How could you say he's not a good player?
I mean, he's an average player, brother.
He's
Straight up,
not average. He's above average. Well, give me one stat that makes you think he's below average.
bro.
Or
Andrew's eye test, bro. He doesn't pass it. Uh,
Andrew's eye test it sucks.
he
There's
does
the
not
reason you
pass
got
it,
four
brother.
of them. You know what I mean?
Fair enough, brother. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Rosarena. Maybe I just have bad blood with him. Watching him
Because
a
you're
lot
a
in the
Yankee
MLB.
fan, maybe?
Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe, maybe my bias is show. I don't know, bro. I just
You're
don't
biased
think
to go with
Randy
Brandon
Rosarena.
Lau, that freaking
I love Brandon
hits
Lau.
three
I love
homers
the
every
Rays,
game
brother. I
against you
love the
guys.
Rays. I've never found any appeal towards Randy Rosarena. I just don't think he's that good. I
Yeah.
really don't.
I think he's
But
gonna come up
I
and
think
put
I'm
up.
wrong, bro. I think I'll just raise my hand up on that one. I
Yeah,
genuinely think I'm wrong. He batted 219 this year. I mean, he did have a 333, 332 on base percentage. I mean, good for you, brother. Um, he put up a 1.9 F4 this year. I mean, a 2 win player.
in the worst year of his season, a two-win F4 player
Okay, his highest WAR he's ever put up is a
is
three,
four, right?
a three, F4.
Three. Oh,
He's a
okay.
3 win player at best. You know what I mean?
Do you realize
I understand. It just when I
how
think
many
of Randy
players are
Rosarena,
three-win players?
when I think of Randy Rosarena, he's surrounded by hype in my opinion. I feel like everybody loves Randy Rosarena. I feel
Because
like
he
he's
does it on the
overrated.
biggest stage
I
every
feel like
single
he's an
time.
overrated player. I don't think he's that good. I just don't think he's
I,
the
I
Rondo
think he's
to
properly
JY's
rated.
Batman, brother. To be honest with you,
What people are saying he's a stud. I mean, people are just saying Randy Rosarino is a solid baseball player. He's a three-win baseball player that it
at
turns
best, oh
into
my
that
bad,
turns
my
into
bad.
what
He put
Aaron
up
Judge is in the
a
regular season.
3.9 F4
Yeah, he had a four-win season.
in,
That's what.
in 2021.
God, you're such a non-ball network man.
That's not me, brother. I think I'm just nervous in front of the camera, brother. Just everything goes out the window. But
I mean,
it'll get
and
better
even in
eventually.
this past season, he walked at an 11.5% clip and
All right,
couldn't
man. Well,
hit.
you want to take a bet? We could take any left fielder that you want, bro. You want to give me Yelich? I'll give you Rosarina because you think
Whoa,
Rosarina is the best
whoa,
player ever, apparently.
whoa. That is not what I'm saying. Christian Yelich is an MVP and looked phenomenal this season. Put up
Would
over a
you give me
900
Riley Green?
OPS.
Want to give me Riley Green?
No. Riley Green's a top 10 center fielder in top five center fielder in baseball, damn near.
And you give
This
me
is what
any
I'm
left
saying.
fielder of your
You're trying to
choosing, bro.
compare
Any
Randy.
any left fielder of your bro. I don't know, man. Give me
Okay,
Jason
let's.
Dominguez's rookie year over Randy Rosarina
Oh
this year,
my
brother.
God, Jason's horrible. Okay, give me that. I'll put
I'll give
50
it.
on it.
We'll take that 50.
All right, we'll put that
I
on
just
the
don't
book.
I don't know, man. Randy
And
Rosarina is not that good.
WRC plus counts because
Well, you know all of
he
our
plays
safe
in
bets are
Seattle.
only fan graphs, brother.
He plays in Seattle. And Jason can't defend. And is he going to steal as much bases?
Well, other than that, on Randy Rosarina, you heard it here heard it here first. Ryan McKinney, biggest Randy Rosarina truther
I'm not a
there is,
biggest
brother.
Randy. I just think you're hating on the kid for no reason. He's
Whatever, man.
29 too. I mean, still
Dude,
in his athletic prime.
it sounds like he's about 3 years away from being out of the league, to be honest with you.
All
But
right.
we got Randy Rosarina. Then you got Luke Raley. I think Luke Raley is a pretty solid player. Um, Mitch Haniger, J.P. Crawford, who another big truther by Ryan McKinney, my co-host.
Whoa,
Huge J.P.
whoa,
Crawford,
whoa, 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 whoa,
huge
whoa,
J.P.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Crawford truther.
You and I both think he's a good defender because of the eye test. We both agree on that eye test. Outside of that, I'm like JP walks, sure, and runs into some baseball and hits it out the windows in right field sometimes and is exciting and has a cool glove. But
All
like
I'm saying is you drafted J.P. Crawford this past year to be your starting shortstop in
in the
fantasy baseball.
last round, I
You took
had
a flyer
Trey
on
Turner
J.P.
who got
Crawford.
hurt. What are we talking about?
Bro, he had second base eligibility, brother. You had him over there.
Oh my
You had him
God, this is
started in your lineup forever,
ridiculous.
brother.
I had Eddie Julian as my second baseman,
I
actually.
had Eddie Julian. I traded you Eddie Julian, man.
Yeah, that was in
So
the Trey Turner
chill,
trade.
relax, brother. But yeah. Then you got Donovan Solano. Then you have Dylan Moore. I mean, I don't know what to do if I'm the front office. It's just you have
They're gonna
such an
pitch
elite
themselves,
rotation, brother.
yeah,
They
to
tried to do
84
that this
wins.
year. They still didn't
And they
make the
won
playoffs.
85. And Randy sucks. And Julio sucked. And Cal Raleigh was great. Outside of that, who the hell was good?
Mitch Garver really needs to turn it around, brother. He's
Jesus,
projected
he's not
on the
going to.
bench, brother.
He's not going to turn it
I hope
around,
he
brother.
does. I love me some Mitchy Four
When
vibes,
I
brother.
told you, when I told you that Mitch Garver can leave the Rangers, I meant it. Shout out to Mitch Garver though. Big guy, big fan of him. Played on the Twins and Rangers. Love that guy.
Yeah, and then yeah, go over the rotation. You got Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. I mean, on any given night, that's the best rotation in baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, just on the top of my dome, I mean, you can compare it to the Dodgers. It's just I feel like the Dodgers have more question marks than the Seattle Mariners pitching staff. So I mean, maybe I don't know. I like the Dodgers, brother. I love me some Blake Snell. Full of question marks. Love me Tyler Glasnow. Full of question marks. Yamamoto still has struggled to stay healthy. Granted, he's only been in MLB for a year. Roki Sasaki, we already touched based on him on the recent news. We'll see how his arm holds up. And then we have Tony Gonsolin, Shohei Ohtani, Dustin May, and Clayton Kershaw, who's inevitably going to be a Dodger. So I'm going to throw Clayton Kershaw on there. I just look at this rotation; it's full of question marks, man. The only question mark I see in this Seattle Mariners pitching staff is Brian Wu. He has a
Just
lot of
for
fires
health
with his leads.
reasons.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But when he's on the field, they're performing. Just like all the Dodgers are on, they're performing. Don't get me wrong. I look at longevity here. I mean, Logan Gilbert's been a stud. George Kirby's been a stud. Luis Castillo, although he's been regressing, he's still a solid pitcher, man. He's still a very solid pitcher.
Yeah.
Bryce Miller, solid pitcher. I argue that he could be on. Actually, I think he was second team All MLB if I'm not mistaken. All
I
MLB team.
off the top of my head, I don't know. Um, but yeah, we know their rotation and bullpen are solid.
Yeah,
And rotation isn't just solid; it's best in the league. Can we
I'm
get on
tripping.
to my favorite team now?
I'm tripping. I
Yeah, I
think
believe
I
Bryce
think
Fowler was second team
yeah,
all
I'm tripping.
MLB,
I
but
think I had an argument with you that I think Bryce Miller could have been second team All MLB. Bryce Miller's a stud, bro. I'm a Bryce Miller truther. I think Bryce Miller's a really good pitcher.
he's a
His
good
flip
guy.
isn't really that good, but the motherfucker gets outs, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. He gets outs. I like Bryce Miller a lot. But yeah, man, F grade for the Mariners. I literally have no pathway to talk to them. I don't know what they can do to make this team better. I
Time Pete
mean,
Alonso.
looking at the projected lineup, it just seems like they're just gonna roll with it again. Hoping these guys can bounce back. Hoping that 2024 season was just a down year for a lot of these guys and a lot of these bats. But I mean, there's a lot of Seattle Mariners fans, man. There's a lot of
Beautiful
Mariners fans.
place.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful stadium.
I just feel sad for their fan base. I feel sad for their just growing up watching that team. They still have never won a World Series.
Remember the
Correct me if I'm
22
wrong.
Mariners
Yes,
crushed Justin
yes,
Verlander in round one of the playoffs
yes.
until Robbie Ray gave up a 700-foot bomb to Jordan. They had the Astros on their
And shout
heels,
out Robbie
man.
Ray, brother. I love Robbie Ray. Um, but yeah, man. I go sign Pete Alonso, go sign Alex Bregman, go sign Jurickson Profar, go do something,
Go
trade
sign them
something.
all. Sign them
Yeah,
all.
sign them all. Yeah, why not, brother? I mean, Blake Snell was there. I mean, I don't. I get why you didn't sign Blake Snell, but
They don't
I
need
think
Snell.
Blake Snell wanted to be a Mariner. I would have took a flyer on him too. But
By the way,
trade
I have Blake Snell
Castillo.
too.
Trade Castillo. Trade
Why trade from strengths when you could just add
him.
strength to the roster? You don't need to trade from strengths
I
to
mean,
become
there was
stronger in
talks
your
to trade
weakness.
Castillo for Casas over there in
That would
Boston.
have been worth it. If there's not a guy like Casas coming to your team, do not trade Luis Castillo.
All right. Well, we'll move on from the Mariners, brother. Sorry about Mariners fans who are watching this or who will tune in the episode later. But I have no optimism for your ball club. I don't think you're a playoff team. I don't think
I
you're
like watching you guys
I
on the
do. I
West Coast
love
time though.
watching Luis Castillo, bro. I love watching anybody on Evans in
Hate
the ninth
watching you guys
who's starting.
play.
I
Hate
dislike
watching you guys play my team,
I
by the
just
way.
like half the beginning though. I only like when you
Yeah.
guys pitch. You know what I mean? I'll change the channel when you guys are hitting because I know nothing's gonna happen, bro. That's
Unless
just the
Julio's
harsh
up.
truth. That's just the harsh truth. Change your stadium, change your dimensions. I don't know
Figure it
what to
out.
do, brother. Go play
Sign
at
some
your minor league
players.
field because obviously
All right.
Citgo Field, T-Mobile, it's not working for you guys, bro. Plain and simple. But I'm sorry. I want the Mariners to be good. This frustration is out of passion. I like the
Yeah.
Mariners. I think they're a really good team, and or I think they could be a really good team, but something needs to change. But Oh,
Let's move
aside
on
from
to the
that,
Rangers.
yeah, I'll let you take full throttle, man. I'll just sit here. I'll
Ah,
just sit here and
the
listen to you,
Texas Rangers.
man.
Horrible 2025 or 2024 season. I kind of predicted it too. I told Andrew I don't think we're going to make the playoffs this past season. Um, it just felt like too many guys had career years in 2023. But it looks like, oh, is your camera gone? Hello?
Yes, oopsie. I accidentally pushed
Oh,
that button on
oh,
accident.
you're good. But it looks like, we made some great additions to really help our ball club. I'm just gonna go through them all real quick, and then we'll just talk about them in a bunch. We signed Chris Martin to a 1 year deal, Sean Armstrong to a 1 year deal, Jock Peterson signed on a 1+1. Hobie Milner signed on a 1 year deal, Jacob Webb on a 1 year deal, Kyle Higashioka, the home
The
run
home run
stroker,
Stoker.
baby,
My,
2 year deal. Nathan Eovaldi, welcome back, big guy, 3 years,
hate that
75.
signing, by the
Eh.
way.
Um, love Nathan though. And then Robert Garcia, we acquired him for Nathaniel Lau from the Nationals. Baseball savant is definitely a uh, a blood, if I say so myself. It's all red, but the numbers, the counting numbers itself haven't been there yet. We'll see if he could turn it around. Um, and then Jake Berger we got from the Marlins for Max Acosta, Cedri Vargas, and Brian Mendoza. Solid trade from us. The headliner in that deal was obviously Max Acosta, guy that's been in our system for a few years now. Athletic as hell, shortstop. His floor is super low, but if he taps into his ceiling, he could be a solid MLB player one day
How
for the
old is the kid?
Marlins.
How old is
I think he's
Acosta?
young 20s,
Young 20s?
so he's got time to develop. It's Cedric Vargas too, athletic as hell, good defender, can pick it over there. Or maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, let's talk about my favorite addition this
Yes. That
offseason
was actually
first.
my question. What's your favorite addition?
Yak
Yes, I
Peterson,
was gonna
baby.
guess. I was gonna ask you if I can guess.
Oh, my bad. Wait,
Yeah.
go again. Wait, we'll cut it.
Who was
But
your favorite
Yak
addition so
Peterson.
far?
Yak Peterson, man. The kid with the pearls. I should have been rocking my pearls this episode. I got some
Yeah.
too. Um, destroys righties. We needed a DH bad as hell, Jesus. Um, and I think he's going to come in and mash behind or in front of or wherever we place him in the lineup, of course, in terms of Corey Seager. Um, I think he had well over a 900 OPS against righties this past season in Arizona. Was a big part of that offense, which was the best offense in baseball, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
And that 1+1, hopefully he accepts his player option in the second year because I'd love to see him in a Rangers uniform 2 years in a row. Um, and then my second favorite addition is Loki Kyle Higashioka.
I was gonna say
Um,
Chris Martin, but you don't gotta convince me on Kyle
yeah,
Higashioka, brother. I love me some home run Stoker,
Jonah
brother.
Heim really struggled, decline in defensive and
Oh,
offensive
but before
value.
you get into Jonah Heim, I kind of want to ask you a question regarding Jock Peterson.
Right.
Obviously, he was a platoon over there in Arizona,
Yeah, he's gonna
mainly
platoon for
plagued.
us too.
So who starts against lefties? And speaking of Jonah Heim, if
And
I'm
the
not mistaken,
DH.
you told me that Jonah Heim hits lefties pretty well.
Yeah. So in 2023 he did. Last season he didn't hit either well.
You said he was
No.
banged up though, just like a
Yeah,
lot of
I
your other
think he
teammates.
was.
Yeah.
Um, I think starting against lefties, I could see Justin Foscue fill in that role.
Are you high on Justin
Depending.
Foscue?
He can destroy lefties. He just did it in the minor leagues. I think if he's on the short term of a platoon, he could provide value. Doesn't he hits the ball pretty hard. Um, so yeah, I think that's our platoon at the DH maybe. I know maybe we give Josh Young some days off, and he DHs against the
Well, he's
lefties, and then we
inevitably gonna
throw
get
in.
hurt, brother. We already know that.
All
So,
right, don't disrespect the kid. And
what
then we
about
throw in.
I'm looking at your projected roster here. What about Ezekiel Duran? Is he gonna get any playing time on those
I
DH
think
days?
I To be honest, I'm not sure. I like Ezekiel Duran. He can pick it. Boy, can he pick it. So I like him as a replacement for any of the three infield spots, even first base. He could play first too. Um, and we've seen him tap into power in 2023. He did that. There was a stretch where I think he had like 4 homers in like 7 games. Um, And then Josh H. Smith, obviously coming off a great first half, horrible second half. I
Abysmal.
think we should trade him at his peak value, but it seems like the team doesn't want to, and they see something. I'm not an expert, so I'm gonna let them slide. But trade him. We should have traded him for Jesus Luzardo. We didn't. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll highlight some of the losses and then we can maybe go
yeah,
talk about the Rangers' future in 2025. But
a lot
you
of
lose Max
losses, by the way.
Scherzer. Yeah, you lose Max Scherzer. You use Kirby Yates pending physical. We'll see if he's still a free agent or if he's going to be a Dodger, whether or not he passes that physical or not. You lose Jose Urena. You lose Nathaniel Lau in a trade. You lose Andrew Heaney, Jose Leclerc, Carson Kelly, Janko, Travis Jankowski, Matt Duffy, and then David Robertson. He elected free
And
agency.
Max Scherzer.
Yeah, Max Scherzer was number one. We
Oh,
lost
my
Scherzer.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The only guy I'm really mad upset about is Kirby Yates and kind of Andrew Heaney. He provided some
I
good
even
depth
think D Rob.
innings
I
for
mean, although
us.
he kind of just left you guys,
Yeah,
but
he kind of just left us.
yeah,
Also, there were so many times on the mound where his counting numbers look good, but I just like every time he came on the mound, I was like, did he give up another run? So
hmm.
I don't know what it was. I guess it was just a feeling, but he had a solid season for us. But I
Sure.
think we replaced him too pretty well. So
Well, let's see. Let's see. You lose on Kirby Yates, Jose Urena, Jose Leclerc, Andrew Heaney, and David Robertson, and then you add Chris Martin, Sean Armstrong, Hobie Milner, Jacob Webb, and Robert Garcia. So, I mean, it seems like as a Rangers fan, at least being friends with you, it kind of seems like your bullpen's always been your issue.
yeah.
So, going into 2025, how do you feel about that bullpen?
It's hopefully a top 20 bullpen in baseball, which is I think all we need
That's
because
crazy. That's
we've been
like
below that number.
yeah,
I mean, it's been bad and even when like 2010, 2011 we didn't have a great bullpen.
yeah.
Um so I think, it's going to be closure by committee. Hopefully my guy Skylar Hales, he's way off. He's like a single A, low A ball player,
Well, is
but he's
Josh Spores back?
I'm not even a Josh Spores believer, but yeah, he's gonna come back. Shout
Okay.
out to Josh Spores though. Last pitch in our first World Series, forever a
Sure.
Ranger legend, and I
Well,
think he could
this
be he could
yeah.
be a good fifth, sixth inning guy.
And just looking at
Um,
this bullpen, I mean, you have Dane Dunning as your long reliever. Love me some Dane Dunning. I will always love me
yeah,
some Dane Dunning. And then
he's gonna get some spot starts too, I'm
you
sure.
have Jacob Latz if you want to touch base on that guy.
Jacob Latz is a lefty. I think he was a bullpen guy for us last year. He's gonna be a bullpen guy for us again because we have so many young pitchers in our system. Um, to bring up in spot starts and depth for our rotation. And then I think even some of our young pitchers, Blighter might get moved to a bullpen role. I think he's a starter. I think he's going to be good this season. I think he's going to find a way to tap into some of that potential. And if we give him the chance
Fingers
at some
crossed.
point, which I think we will, he's going to be solid for us. And then I forgot the guy's first name, but his last name's uh, Teodo. He could be a high leverage arm for us and then get reverted back to the rotation as well. Um, our bullpen, if it's sitting at the 17th, 18th range, I think we're a 85 win team, 86, 87 win team, and that gives us a shot at the playoffs, which is really all you can hope for. I mean, if our lineup reaches its ceilings, we have a top three lineup in baseball, though, I think, um,
Do you know
which could
anything
carry
about
us.
this Daniel Robert guy? He seems like he's a mid reliever for you guys.
Daniel Robert, he played for us last year. I didn't catch too many of his innings. I kind of tuned out of the Rangers baseball outside of watching our young guys play in not October, September. But I was on it every once in a while. He's just gonna be a middle relief guy. I think our ceilings of relief pitchers is gonna be the guys we brought in: Jacob Webb, Homie Milner, good lefty. It's always good to have a guy like him in our rotation. Pitch to a three. Um, I'm sorry, a 4.73 ERA this past season, but the year before had a 1.82 in 64 innings. Has pitched 64 innings the last three seasons,
Okay.
averaging about a 3.5 ERA.
What's his
Um,
FIP looking like?
he had a 3.16 FIP in 22, 3.13 in 23, and 3.14 in 24. So very consistent. It just looks like he gave up a little bit more hits this season than usual. Which can happen, Some balls drop in, bad luck. You're a relief
Yeah,
pitcher, you give up three one outing, it could ruin your ERA for a little bit.
for sure, man. I'm looking at this bullpen. I mean, Dane, Jacob Lath, who you touched on, Daniel Robert, who you touched on, Hobie Milner, Sean Armstrong, Jacob Webb, Robert Garcia, Chris Martin. So from Dane Dunning, from Hobie Milner, Sean Armstrong, Jacob Webb, Robert Garcia, and Chris Martin, I think it's kind of undersold. Maybe I think maybe a little bit above 20. I think these guys can get it done. I don't think they have the strongest track record outside of Chris Martin. It seems like a lot of the other ones seem to be pretty average. Robert Garcia, like you said, his savant is pretty crazy. But I mean, I don't know. I just think you throw in Josh Swords as well, who's gonna throw a couple of innings for you too. I think you're looking at a pretty decent bullpen. I think it's better than it has been
I mean,
because
decent is like
yeah,
16, 17, right?
yeah.
In baseball.
I mean,
I think
it's not bad. I mean, I've definitely
that's what
seen
I'm
worse
saying.
bullpens. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I mean, if we if it was in the playoffs this past season, it would be the probably
It'd be solid.
it would be the second best or second worst bullpen in the playoffs from this past season. I think maybe ahead of.
I think you're ahead of the Orioles if you have this one. I think
Whoa,
you're
whoa,
no.
whoa!
Listen, you
Oh,
said in
of
the
last year, of
2024
last year. Oh
playoffs.
yeah,
You said
fair
in the
enough,
2024 playoffs. I
fair
think you're
enough.
better than the Orioles. I think it's better than the Royals.
No, no, no,
I
no, no,
think
no, no,
so. What
no.
you got? Bubich. You had Urseg.
Those two guys are better than anyone in our bullpen.
Give me Chris Martin. I think Chris Martin is better than Bubich.
Whoa. Okay, who's our Lucas Ursay?
Dane Dunning, bro. He's just gonna get it done. I guess, bro. Sure. Just because it's so top heavy with Lucas Urseg. Sure. It's not better than the Tigers. It was not better than the Astros.
It's
Not
not
better than
better
the
than the Yankees.
Braves
It's
or
not
the
better than
Padres,
Dodgers, Bears,
Dodgers,
Padres, Dodgers,
Brewers.
Mets.
I mean, yeah, yeah, I guess you're right, brother. You're only better than the Orioles. I
That's what I'm saying.
think,
I put it into that perspective, and it really
yeah,
shapes out.
yeah.
But I'm excited for this team. Jesus, am I excited for us to put up 5.5 runs per game, maybe even six. Corey Seager, 940 OPS incoming.
What about Simeon? Do you think Simeon bounces back?
Simeon's gonna bounce back, have a 780 OPS, play great defense.
Is
Wyatt,
he? Do you have
Bangford, and Evan Carter are gonna be elite, baby. Let's go.
fingers crossed, brother?
No, fingers crossed. I don't need him crossed. It's gonna happen. It's already set in stone. Wyatt Langford might get MVP votes this season,
So
brother.
looking at this lineup, you need Adolis Garcia to.
Yeah,
He was a shell of himself last year.
yeah.
Terrible.
Still hit
You need
almost
Adolis
30
Garcia.
homers.
Sure, sure. I mean, what was his OPS in this low sevens,
It was
maybe
in the
high sixes?
600s. Yeah.
Yeah. So sure, 30 home runs is it's 600. It's not gonna do it, brother. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, Marcus Simeon. I mean, same conversation. High sixes, low sevens, if I'm not mistaken, in
Yeah.
OPS category. Jock
All-star.
Peterson,
All-star Marcus Simeon. Put some respect on his name.
All Star. Jose Altuve went out, brother. Need to chill.
He's a all-star starter, brother.
Okay, Corey Seager. Hopefully, I mean, he's gonna get hurt, bro. He's gonna play
All right.
110 games.
I'm okay. Aaron Judge is gonna get hurt.
Aaron
So
Judge
screw
hasn't got
you.
hurt. I mean, he does
Relax.
play.
All
He
right,
does
relax
play in.
before you say some stupid shit.
He does play at Dodger Stadium this year, so hopefully the wall doesn't bite his ass again. But we'll see. Um, sure, man.
Corey Seager performs in the
Corey Seager
playoffs.
gets hurt, brother.
Corey Seager
Okay.
performs in the
Are we talking about
playoffs.
the Yankees or are we talking about the Rangers,
Yeah,
brother?
yeah.
Come on
Well,
now.
I mean, you're just attacking some vulnerable parts, and I'm not here for it.
I
I
think
didn't do that.
Seager's a
I
good
didn't do
player,
that for
brother.
you guys, so I don't know
I
why you're
think
doing it
Seager's a
here.
good player, brother. I think Seager's a good
Let's
player.
move on to the A's, man. I'm tired
But
of
yes,
your
Marcus Simeon
dialogue right now.
needs to take a step forward, or
Just get
what's
back
his?
to where he was.
Yeah,
780 OPS,
exactly,
cool.
exactly. He's gonna play every day. That's a plus for him.
Yeah, brings his
Josh Young,
lunchbox
Josh
to
Young.
work every
I
day.
hope he stays healthy this year. Evan
You for,
Carter, same deal. He had a lot
you
of back
forgot
issues.
you forgot the most important part of the season.
What? Jacob
It's
Degrom.
Bruce Bochy's every other year. Jacob DeGrom, Cy Young, Corey Seager, MVP. Rangers are beating the Dodgers in seven in the World Series.
I want you to beat him in four, dude. Just go for the clean
Yeah,
sweep.
fuck it. Let's sweep them. Fuck the Dodgers. Here we go now, baby.
But yeah, pitching rotation: Evaldi, Degrom, John Gray. John Gray and Dane Dunning are intertwinable to me. I think they're both equally just as good. Tyler Mahle, who you signed in free agency,
Mally.
or Tyler Mahle, who you signed in free agency of the 2020 three off season, going into 2024 season.
Mm,
He was banged up for a majority of the year. I think he made two or three starts. Cody Bradford, who came up and pitched
It
very
was good
well.
this last
Yeah,
season, yeah.
pitched very well. He was banged up, missed majority of the year. And then you have Kumar Rocker, who I think is going to slide in I think he's gonna make the team spring training. That's just me. That's just
He
my opinion.
should. He should. He's a
I
better pitcher
don't.
than
I
John
think
Gray.
it's yeah for sure. I think you. I mean, you move John Gray to the bullpen.
Yeah, he's a I
Yeah,
think John Gray, we saw him in the playoffs perform well in the bullpen. I think we just have to take this idea out of our heads that we gave this guy money, so he has to be a starter. No. Succeed as a team. He got his back. He doesn't have to work again for the rest of his life. Who
yeah,
cares if he hits free agency and was a reliever for us this year? If his morality is down, trade him for a freaking bag of bones.
yeah.
Who cares? We don't need that on a team. We need to win.
So it looks like your SP1 is Nathan Evaldi. I'm gonna intertwine it. I'm gonna go with DeGrom. Evaldi number two.
Who said that?
Fangraphs.
All right, Fangraphs.
Fangraphs has Nathan Evaldi as your SP1. But I'm gonna go DeGrom one,
Yeah,
Evaldi two,
yeah,
three. I'm gonna go Mally. Four. I'm gonna go
sure,
Kumar, and
sure.
I think Cody
Five,
Bradford.
Cody Bradford. Six, Jack Leiter.
Yeah, I think
And Rangers win 98 games.
I think Jack Leiter's your five starter
Sweep the Yankees in the division series,
by
sweep the
also hosting.
Astros in the ALCS, and we sweep the Dodgers in the World Series, and we're 2025 World Champions.
Yeah, man, we'll see what happens, brother. But I hope so. I like the Rangers, man. I have no ill things to say about the Rangers. But yeah, man. I hope Sebastian Walcott comes up soon.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited for Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter. You guys
yeah.
saw last episode. I should have worn it this episode, but I had the Evan Carter jersey on.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. We'll take a quick break and then we'll slide over to the Athletics, Angels, one of the two.
Athletics and Angels. Yep.
All right, man.
A's
Sounds good.
first, Angels second.
All right. All
Welcome
right, man.
back.
That's enough on the Rangers, brother. Oh, we didn't give our grade.
A plus. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna give us a solid B plus.
I think we're about the
B.
same
B
range.
to B plus. Yeah.
I think the same thing.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think they added the right pieces they needed to add. So I mean, it's definitely not top heavy, or it's not like eye
It's
opening.
a
Oh my god, they
well-rounded
added this
off
guy.
season.
It's
Yeah.
well rounded. So like understanding Rangers needs, I just don't. I don't know what kind of criteria to give it. I kind of want to give it an A because I feel like you couldn't have. Honestly, I can't go to an A range because you let Kirby Yates walk. I'm sorry.
Well,
I
we
think.
also have to remember that we went into this offseason trying to cut cost, and we've done that and still added to this, which
Yeah,
I don't agree with. And no owner should cut costs. We don't have a TV deal. Big whoop. Our owner's the fifth richest owner, I think, in baseball, is worth billions of dollars. Ray Davis. Shout out Ray Davis. Um, but we cut costs and got better, I think. So if we brought back Kirby Yates, I think this would have been an A for me, but we didn't. So I'm gonna
yeah,
settle B, B plus.
yeah. I'm about the same range. You give Kirby Yates, man. I'm definitely in that A range, 100%. But I'm gonna give it like an 89.8%, really. Almost that A range.
Yeah.
All right, man.
So
Well,
let's get into one of the most
yeah,
fun off seasons so far.
yeah, brother, for sure.
The Oakland Athletics, man.
Sacramento Athletics, Las
Oh, I'm
Vegas
sorry.
Athletics. Who knows,
Yeah.
brother?
Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, we'll go ahead and let you run through the additions.
So I'll run through all the additions real quick. They got Jose Leclerc, just recently added him. We talked about him before the episode really started into the deep dive. Of the offseason. And then we got Gio Urshela on a 1 year deal. Luis Severino, shout out to Luis Severino, one of my favorite pitchers. 3 year deal, 67 million. They extended Brent Rooker 5 years, 60 million. Congratulations to Brent Rooker. Love to see a guy like him get paid. Um, and then they traded for Jeffrey Springs. They gave up Joe Boyle and Will Simpson, Jacob Waters, and a 2025 competitive balance A draft pick. And then they acquired um, Jared Johnson for Nick Allen. So they've had an exciting offseason, in my opinion. Jeffrey Springs is a great signing. They actually got two good rotation pieces. And I think they're 1 and 2 going into the season with Jeffrey Springs and Luis Severino. Luis Severino obviously coming off a season with the Mets where he signed a 1 year prove it deal and he proved it and got himself paid. Had a 3.81 ERA, um, pitched decent in the playoffs. Pitched a lot of innings. 182 was up there with the most in baseball, and pitched to about a 4.2 FIP. And struck out about 8 per 9. Just a solid season for Luis Severino overall. And I'm excited to see what he does in Sacramento. I'll definitely be watching more A's games this year.
Oh, for sure, man. Also, just kind of want to see how that stadium plays, and it's also very fun to see Major League their visiting teams going to be at that stadium as well. It's
Yeah,
definitely a different type of intimacy. But yeah, man. I mean, Jose Leclerc, you bring him. I know how you feel about Jose Leclerc. I mean, he's kind of hit or miss on any given night.
yeah.
Gio Urshela, ever since he left the Yankees, kind of just been searching for jobs. But shout out him, he's still finding jobs because he's a decent ball player, man.
I want to see your take on the Jeffrey Springs trade. I know you're a big Rays guy, big Rays rotation guy, and a big Jeffrey Springs guy. So,
I mean, I think it's solid. I mean, like you basically touched base on. I'm a huge Rays guy. I'm a huge Jeffrey Springs guy. I think he's a very quality, good pitcher, and on any given team, I feel like he's at least in that starting rotation. For I mean, unless you're the
do you think
Mariners or
he's
the
their one
Dodgers,
or two?
I think he there's there too. You don't go out there and pay 67 million to Luis Severino and him not be
They,
your SP1.
but they did give up three guys and a draft pick for Jeffrey Springs. So some
On
could say,
Fangraphs, Luis Severino is projected as our SP1.
okay,
I can't argue with that, man. Jeffrey
fair
Springs is the
enough.
number two, and yeah, man. I mean, Jeffrey Springs,
Do you
he was
think he
ranked.
could pitch to their one? Do you think he could
No, I
outperform
think
Luis
no.
Severino?
I think Luis Severino's ceiling is higher.
Really?
What do you think?
Interesting. Okay. Um, it's a tough question, truthfully, because Springs hasn't been healthy for what, 2 years?
I mean, either has Luis Severino really,
Yeah,
at
but he
least as of
just
this
came
year.
off a season where he gave us 182 innings.
Yeah, man. Good for him, right?
And was solid. So it's a tough question, but if I had to bet my dollar on it, I would think Jeffrey Springs would put up a better season almost. I mean, even in the 33 innings he pitched this past season, he pitched to a 3.27 and struck out 10 per nine while only walking three. And coming back from a huge injury, I think that only gets better. I mean, the last full season we've seen of Jeffrey Springs was in 22. He pitched 135 innings and he pitched to a 2.46, brother. Um, Pitched to a 2.46 and 3.04 FIP with 150 ERA plus. Struck out 9.5 per nine. Um, then if we go to his baseball savant, I'm interested to see what those bubbles look like. I know not everything's a bubble reference, but I'm just interested to see what it looks like and give you guys a little deep dive. 2022, it's got to load. Yeah, I don't know why you can't just pick a season on Savant, but whatever. I'm at 19, 20. Um, yeah, I think Jeffrey Springs is gonna outperform Luis Severino. Yeah, in 2022, I mean, it's a lot of light red. I mean, a lot of sections where he's in the 70th to 80th percentile, 75th in xERA, 75th in average xVelo, 95% in chase percentage, 75% in whiff percentage, 71% in K percentage, 83 in walk percentage. Just a solid pitcher. So I think his floor and possibly his ceiling is higher than Luis Severino, but I think they're both going to be a good 1-2 punch. Um, let's go to their projections. Let's see what Baseball Reference has Jeffrey Springs projected to pitch
Excuse me.
73 innings in 2025. He's going to get more, but it's a safe projection to a 3.33 ERA. And Luis Severino,
Has 160 innings with a 4.28 ERA.
yeah, so they project Luis Severino is going to be worse too. Um,
Well, let's just not go
in
off
terms of
projections.
counting
Okay,
stats,
let's see. Luis Severino was what, 30?
he's third. He's going to
He'll
be
be
31,
31 in
and Jeffrey
February.
Springs is going to be 32.
Okay, so I mean, it's pretty about the same sample size. If you compare Luis Severino's best year to Jeffrey Springs' best year, Luis Severino's best year was in 2017. He pitched to a 2.98 ERA through 193 innings with a 3.08 FIP and a 1.040 WHIP, with a 10.7 strikeout per nine, 2.4 walks per nine, a 1 homer per nine, and a
Top three
7
in
hits
Cy
per
Young
nine,
that
and a
season
top
too, I
three in Cy
think.
Young. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. He finished third in Cy Young that year. So I mean, if you just based it off their best years, I think
I
I
mean,
don't know,
but
man.
look how far we are removed from that
Removed.
year.
That's why I wanted to bring up
Even
the age in the beginning.
2018, which I think he was a lead in, we're one, two, three, four, five, 6 seasons removed from those guys. Where Jeffrey Springs, even in the super small sample size we've seen in the last 2 seasons, where he's thrown 50 innings, his ERA in those 50 innings is below a 2.5.
Yeah. Well, I can see that
I'm
definitely.
Yeah, and then the season
Yeah, for
before that,
sure.
he had under a 2.5 ERA too. So,
Who's ERA plus is bigger? Is better.
and in their career, I got
Career
Severino's pulled up here,
122.
110.
122 for Jeffrey Springs. So I mean, I guess I was wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like Jeffrey Springs has a higher ceiling. I guess I don't know.
I
Jeffrey
mean, I don't
Springs
want to
just
put
hasn't
the
been as good
ceiling and
though.
floor on that. I
Yeah.
just it was. it's an interesting conversation. I think it's a toss-up, truthfully.
Yeah, I
But if
think
I
so
had to
too.
bet money on it, I would go Jeffrey Springs. Would
Yeah,
you
it
still
just
pick with your Luis Severino pick or
I think I'm gonna go with Luis Severino just because I feel like
okay?
he's more valuable. I mean, we've never seen this guy's
Innings wise,
pitched,
yeah,
yes, 135 innings is his maximum. And you look
yeah,
33, 16, 44, 20, 32, 32. You know what I mean? Like he
yeah,
doesn't throw. He doesn't
right.
pitch.
But I think if they both get to 150, Jeffrey Springs 150 is going to be more valuable than Luis Severino. But
That's
I
a
could
big
see your
if.
point.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I could see your point as to why you would pick Severino. So.
Yeah,
But let's talk about some of their guys in their lineup that are exciting. Lawrence Butler, breakout season. Brent Rooker somehow got better after 2023. And then some of their young guys, I think Jacob Wilson's going to be an everyday guy for them
for
this year.
sure. For sure.
Nick Kurtz is going to get the call up. I think their last year draft pick out of Wake Forest, absolutely slugger in the first base position. Shea Langoliers has a chance to jump into a top 10 catcher role in baseball, I think maybe.
Mhm.
Um, Destroyed the Rangers for 3 games this past season. And I'm just excited to see some of their guys. I mean, I don't know who they have slot is what's the speedy center fielder's name? Stole like
um
60 bags.
Esteury Ruiz.
Yeah, is he slotted in as their center fielder? It
Nah,
was kind of weird
he's on
what
the
they did
bench.
to him. Yeah,
He's on
that's
the
I
bench.
think he should be in their outfield.
They have JJ Bleday there.
Yeah, JJ Bleday had a not a great season, but definitely broke through finally.
So their outfield so far is Seth Brown, Lawrence Butler, and
JJ
JJ
Bleday.
Bleday.
Interesting. So, I mean, I guess I could see a Stewie coming off the bench. I think Seth Brown's a solid baseball player.
He's a little bit he's getting a little bit older, man. He's gonna be 33 this
Yeah,
year.
that's what I think we should just play with Asturi Ruiz. I mean, Seth Brown's definitely coming off a bad season too. I think he put up under I think he had a negative WAR. So I don't know why they wouldn't give those at bats to Asturi Ruiz, but
Well, I don't know
um,
what their problem is with Esther Ruiz.
I think they just did the service time manipulation on him.
Yeah, probably. Huh?
Yeah. So
I mean, he's put up negative. He's never put up a positive WAR.
Seth Brown,
No, Esther Ruiz,
really?
really. And he's never put up higher than an 88 or never mind, I'm reading that wrong. 87 OPS plus, and that was this year through 29 games. The year prior, his OPS plus was 85, and in
Yeah, he did have a negative
2022,
WAR.
he had a 29 OPS plus. So I mean,
I don't know.
I don't
He's
even
only
know.
25 though. Why not just give those at bats to him and see if he's worth taking to Vegas? I mean, Seth Brown's not going to be on your team when you go there.
I don't know.
I
I
can
mean,
guarantee you that.
I mean,
Seth
he
Brown might
has
not be on the team at the end of this season.
what's his walk percentage? Now I'm kind of looking at
Who,
Esther
Esteury
Ruiz.
Ruiz? He does not
Yeah,
walk at all. Does not walk at all.
I wonder if he's a good
He's
defender.
not a good defender at all.
So I guess he's just a
But
one-trick
he's athletic
pony,
as
isn't
hell.
he?
How is he not a good defender? Just give him the at bats. I don't care. Seth Brown should not be in your outfield. Esteury Ruiz should. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
All right, man. All right, we'll go from there then, for
But
sure.
yeah, I'll definitely be watching some more A's game. Let's grade their offseason. I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Well, let's highlight their losses. They lost Scott Alexander,
Oh
Ross
yes, I'm sorry.
Stripling, Alex Wood, Trevor Gott, and Ryan Noda. I don't know. I don't know how to grade their offseason. I mean, they're Oakland Athletics or the Sacramento Athletics.
But I think they're gonna keep spending because I
I
think
think
they
so too.
have
I think they want to
to
have a
avoid.
market for Vegas. I think
Well,
they
no, I
want
think
to
they
bring
have
people.
to avoid. I forgot the word. Where they're gonna force the owner to sell if he doesn't spend so much money. So I think they're
Right.
gonna maybe they go out and sign Jack Flaherty, California native.
I mean, they were second place for Max Fried. I mean, I remember
Yeah,
reading that report. So they're definitely trying.
yeah.
And I don't think
Horrible
the
owner, by the
Athletics.
way.
I don't think the Athletics get enough credit for their development. I think they
They're
develop stars,
starting
man.
to develop a little
And
better.
they
Yeah,
develop a lot of good people, man.
I don't know about a
Sean
lot.
Murphy, Matt Chapman, Matt Olson.
Oh yeah,
Just to
those
highlight
guys. Yeah.
those three. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. To be fair, yeah, yeah. Maybe
I
I
mean,
was
they
wrong. They
develop
definitely.
guys, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Mason
They
Miller,
just trade them away before they get to their
Brent Rooker.
peaks.
Um, Brent Rooker really wasn't anything
Turned them
until he got over
around.
there
Yeah.
to Oakland. You know, yeah. So yeah, I mean, B minus sounds about right. C plus, I
No.
suppose. Just I mean, they've made some moves, which is a lot of these other teams can't say. Just like the Mariners, why they got an F grade. At least the Athletics are trying. You know.
I mean,
and
they're forced to try. But
they
even
went
last season, coming into the year, they signed some guys just to
yeah.
fill out the roster. So
I mean, they're
I'm all
six.
for.
They finished 69 and 93. I'm gonna go ahead and take the over. I think they're maybe about a 75 win
I
ball
think
club.
there's, yeah, if they reach their ceiling, they might touch a number starting in eight.
Yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
know if
I
that's
don't.
crazy, but
I've never sleep on the Athletics, bro. Like I said,
yeah.
I don't think they give enough credit for their development. I think they I don't know. I think Lawrence Butler is really good. I think Brent Rooker is really good. I think Zach Eloff had a down year. I think he's a better player than that. I think
Oh yeah,
Jacob
I think
Wilson.
Zach Gallup will pop,
I think Jacob Wilson's is a
come
solid
back.
player. I think Gio Rochelle is a solid player.
She's
Vijay
not on their
Boudet.
team.
Gio Rochelle is on the team.
Oh, they did sign Gio. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
Gio Rochelle is a solid player. And then
Yes,
Shea
yes, yes.
Langoliers, like you said,
He
I
could
mean,
jump into this top 10 catcher. And I
and
think
then
Nick
deal
Kurtz
with
is
the
going to be good.
rotation. You got Luis Severino, Jeffrey Springs, JP Sears, Joey Estes, and Mitch Spence. I mean, just major league quality starting pitching.
There's
And
more, yeah, exactly. There's more major league pitchers in that rotation,
yeah,
which will always help.
I mean, their bullpen is their bullpen, but I think the Athletics they can pitch, man. I mean, I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about the Athletics other than the fact about their owner. You know what I mean? I think they can build a team out there. They just refuse not to not. But I think the Athletics can give you a run for your money. I mean, any given night. I mean, they're definitely a better team than say the White Sox and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, man, I'll go ahead and give them about a C plus, C
Yeah.
minus.
Let's move on to the Angels who continue to try to compete.
All right, so to highlight their additions, they signed Yusei Kikuchi for 3 years, $63.7 million. I think it was like 63.675. I just rounded up to 63.7. Kevin Newman on a 1 year deal worth 2.7. Travis d'Arnaud on a 2 year, $12 million deal. Kyle Hendricks on a 1 year deal worth 2.5. Then you take a flyer on Scott Kingery, who you acquired from the Phillies for cash. Then you trade Jorge Soler for Griffin Canning, and then you claim Ryan Noda on waivers.
Um, I think we should be real quick on the Angels. Not to be frank.
They're not a
Ho-
competitors, man. They're
No,
not going to compete.
and these moves don't make them competitive. Shout out to their owner for trying to stay competitive. It's a
Yeah,
horrible business decision and a horrible decision in general, but I'm excited to go watch these guys play at Angel Stadium. I'm
yeah,
excited to
me
see
too.
Soler there. I'm excited to see maybe a Kikuchi start. Hopefully he gets his 16 hours of sleep or whatever he needs beforehand.
Yeah.
And then see Darno. Darno's a cool veteran. I think he's going to be good for Logan O'Hoppe and his development, which I'm excited for. A big O'Hoppe guy. So
Yeah, man.
also Ryan Noda could be something.
I
Um,
guess. I mean, I just don't know where he plays, but sure.
yeah, because they're big on Shonowell.
Yeah. But we'll highlight their losses before we go ahead and
Yeah,
go over their letter grades and maybe touch base on their lineup and
some
stuff
of
like
their
that.
guys. Yeah.
But they've lost Patrick Sandoval, Matt Moore, Hunter Strickland, Brandon Drury, Kevin Pillar, Griffin Canning, and Roanzi Contreras.
I don't understand the Patrick Sandoval non-tender. Just bring him back. Jesus Christ. I mean, he could be good.
Yeah.
Why just let him walk? But whatever.
Yeah, man. It's just what the Angels do. But
Yeah.
you got Taylor Ward, Luis Rengifo, Michael Trout, Jorge Soler, Nolan Shanwell, Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, Anthony Rendon, and Joe Adell. I mean, on paper, I mean, it's not a bad lineup by any means. It's
No.
just
We
to
I sent it to you and
yeah,
I remember telling you like this is a better lineup than like some possible playoff teams.
yeah, man.
Like is it better than the Royals lineup maybe?
Yeah, I
If
think so.
Trout plays 140 games, it might be better than the Royals lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Ward's a solid player. I mean, he's been
Yeah.
tossed
Is it
around in trade
is it
talks for
better than the
a long
Tigers
time.
lineup too?
Maybe potentially. I mean,
Is it
Riley
better
Greene,
than
Kerry
maybe
Carpenter.
do I dare I say the Guardians lineup? I don't think so, but I think it's
I think you can have a conversation for all three of
yeah.
those teams. A lot of those Central teams, honestly, within the Twins as well. You can
Nah,
definitely have a conversation.
yeah. It
But
might even be better than it's better than the Mariners lineup.
it's better than the Rays lineup.
Yeah, maybe. It depends on Junior Caminero
Yeah.
and Yandy Diaz. But
But
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot of conversation.
And then on your bench, you got your backup catcher Travis d'Arnaud, and then you have Kevin Newman, Scott Kingery, and then Mickey Moniak. So a lot of
I
these guys
want
are
you to
really good.
talk. I'm going to ask you one question.
What's up, man?
Just speak on Zach Neto for 2 minutes. You have a
Oh my
Zach Neto
God.
truther in your
Zach Neto is
bio on
such a
Twitter.
good player, brother. I am a Zach Neto truther. If you go highlight, at Drew Lake or Drew Locks underscore, I have it in my bio saying a Zach Neto truther. Me and Ryan are from Southern California, brother. So we go to a lot of Angel games.
45 minutes from Angel
Yeah,
Stadium.
45 minutes. So we go to a lot of Angels games, man. And I don't. Zach Neto just a gritty player, bro. I look at him, bro, and he wants to compete. You know what I mean? He wants to. He goes out there and he tries his hardest on every given night. And I started becoming a Zach Neto truther after not this past year, but the year before that. Because like I said, we go out and we see a lot of games. So during his rookie year, and then looking at 2024, brother, he put up a 5B WAR. Like, how is that not a good player?
I
You know
didn't
what I
say he
mean?
wasn't good. I just,
like
you're the
that,
truther, brother. I'm gonna let
like
you.
I just think he's a really good shortstop. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think he's gonna stay at shortstop forever because if I'm not mistaken, I really don't think he's that great of a defender. But he
he's getting
got better
better.
this year.
He's
Yeah, he
getting
got
better.
better this year.
He's
He
not a
was
good defender, but
abysmal
he's getting better.
in his
He's
rookie
super
year.
young. He's doing
Yeah.
all of his development is happening in the bigs.
Let me backtrack. He's in the 10th percentile on range outs above average, so he's definitely
He
got
got
a
better though.
yeah. He's gotten better, but he still needs to tune it up, brother.
He
He's
got
barely
better.
passing. I mean, maybe a year or two. Knowing the Angels are probably gonna get like 6 reps,
They'll probably
6 more
trade him
years.
or not
Uh,
tender
you know,
him.
but yeah, man, I'm just looking at his stats, bro. Just 5 wins. He put up 23 home runs this year with 30 stolen bases. So, 2020 right there. Damn near almost 25-25. And then he put up a 249 batting average. Solid. You know what I mean? 1 point batting 250. We don't even look at it twice. You know what I mean? I batted
Yeah,
250. We batted 249,
I don't think we look at
318,
batting average regardless.
318 on base percentage. He slugged at a 443 clip, and then give him
That's
a
what we
seven.
look at.
Yeah, give him a 761 OP. Bro, that's an above average stick out there. He's young, man. He's young.
He's
He's
like
23
23.
years old. Yes,
Yeah.
he's 23 years
God,
old.
I know ball.
113 OPS plus. Like it's just he's such a solid baseball player, man. I just maybe I don't I just like the dude, bro. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I like
Shout
the
out
dude.
Zach Neto.
I just like the dude, man. I just think he's good. He walks at a 6.5% clip. I mean, not great, but he's
Younger players
23.
are
He's
struggling to
23.
walk as they come into the league. We've
Yeah,
noticed that. So I don't see how he can't progress that. So
his
I think
chase
that's a good note
percentage. Yeah,
to
just
end
young
on
player.
is it's just Zach Neto,
Yeah,
man.
Zach Neto, man.
Shout
Look out
out
for
Zach
Zach Neto,
Neto.
brother. I think he's a future All Star, if not multiple time All Star. Like shout out
Yeah.
Zach Neto, brother. He's a really good player. And who knows, bro? Mike Trout still can't stay healthy. Jorge
If he
Soler
does,
Loki gets
can he
banged up.
just one more season,
You
Lord,
might see Zach
please.
Neto as the Angels All Star this year, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe or a Hoppy
Him
or
or
both.
Hoppy. Yeah, both of them. Zach Neto might start over Gunnar or Bobby Witt, bro. Who
All right.
knows?
All right, that's enough.
Well, all right, man. To give a
Shout out
grade,
Zach Neto.
shout out like maybe like I don't know, C
I'm gonna give him
minus.
a D plus because
Yeah,
they just won't trade Taylor Ward. They won't trade Luis Rengifo. They won't trade any guys with value to get the worst, one of the worst, if not the worst, farm systems
systems
in
baseball.
baseball upgraded, and they're ruining my glorious king, Mike Trout's career.
Well, we're gonna see Christian Moore come up. That's just inevitable.
Simo.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. I'm excited for that.
yeah. Shout out Christian Moore. So we'll probably
All
see
right,
him.
then, y'all. We'll see you guys for NL East. Are we starting NL East or NL
We want to
West?
start with NL West. We started with the AL East this time. So, all right, man. Next episode we'll start with the NL
NL
West this time.
West. All right.
Highland with
Sounds
the
good.
Dodgers first. All right, man. I appreciate you
Peace,
guys
y'all.
tuning in. I'll see you in the next
Follow us,
episode.
subscribe, like, follow our Twitter at Across the Diamond. Um, and yeah, shout out everyone.
All right, you guys have a good day.
Like